Production of Broad and High is funded in part by the Greater Columbus Arts Council, supporting arts, advancing culture, and connecting the community to artists, events, and classes at columbusmakesart.com.
On the next Broad and High. A collection of very special canines honors those who've sacrificed life and limb for our country.
So I decided to do this to tell the story of the wounded veteran through man's best friend.
Thursday night at 8 on WOSU. Hey everyone, I'm Kate Quickle and welcome to Broad and High. We recently traveled up to Milford Center out near Marysville to meet James Mellick at his home studio. He's sculpted a collection of wooden dogs that he calls his wounded warriors. They're meant to raise awareness of the sacrifice and the injuries of wounded veterans, but through the image of our canine companions. Here's more.
I've always been working with dogs since 1985. And I've always told stories with dogs, allegory. With the increased triage and medical technology, and the better medical technology, there are more soldiers surviving with worse wounds and injuries. And so visually, as an artist, I tend to react to things visually. So I decided to do this to tell the story of the wounded veteran through man's best friend, his companion. And what could be a better companion than his service dog, the war dog that accompanies him in battle. For the Afghanistan wounded warrior, it was a double amputee that had lost both legs due to an explosion under the Humvee. With the Iraqi soldier who's missing a leg and the dog's missing an ear, has a metal plate in the head, is blind in one eye from a side explosion of an IED. So these were, a lot of times, these are typical wounds that the soldiers are returning with from these particular campaigns. The seventh dog is actually, it's not really a dog, but it's a flag-draped coffin that was inspired by a video I saw of the caskets coming off of a Delta flight. And a flag-draped human casket came off the flight, followed by a small box, which was his dog. The primary installation was 7 dogs, including the flag-draped casket. So I'm working on one which they were all physical injuries, so I'm getting the one which is a psychological injury done, the PTS dog, done in time for the exhibition. So that will be the 8th dog. Wounded Warrior 6 it represents a World War II veteran, a World War II veteran that has passed on, and that just has a single dove on the back. It's called Blessing and Mercy. Whereas this one is going to have a white dove and a black dove sitting on the back, just sort of facing each other off, which will be symbolic of conflicting spirits. Not only is this going to be describing PTSD, but there's also an amputation here involved with this. And I don't think I'm going to put a service ribbon on the collar like I have the other dogs. Each have a service ribbon representing the conflict that they were in. This is more about the soldier who's come home. Boy, what I was not aware of was the emotional impact that this display would have. Many veterans want to see this in a national location where they can see it again. So I'm hoping to get it acquired by a national gallery. So we're going to work on that.
Well, Jim's been a member of Ohio Designer Craftsmen for over 40 years, so we've known him for forever. We really wanted to have more of an interactive reception, and one of the dogs that you'll see in the exhibition is Alex. He was commissioned by the Delaware County Sheriff's Office, Jim was, to make a likeness of their dog, Alex. When we were looking at the Wounded Warrior dogs, we knew we needed more to the exhibition, and Jim's been doing sculpture since 1970s. And he's done a lot of dogs, other dogs that are a little more humorous than what you'll see with the Wounded Warrior dogs. And we really thought just to bring it all together would be great to have other dogs that are a little more fun, to bring a little more levity to the installation itself, and to show what how dogs provide different types of service to humans.
The Wounded Warrior dogs will be on display at the Ohio Craft Museum in Grandview through March 26th. Learn more at ohiocraft.org. And you can see even more of Jim's artwork at jamesmellick.com. Now we're going to introduce you to a few other Central Ohio artists who work primarily with wood. First up, Dennis Devendra of German Village. He works with lathes. It's a type of machine that spins his wood at speeds of more than 1,000 RPMs. But when he first started out, he had a hard time finding mentors who would teach him. Here's why.
So I have been turning wood since 2004. Wood turning is the process of shaping wood. Now, all the tools, everything stays still, and the wood spins, and then you carve the wood with tools. And the wood that you want to use for wood turning, pretty much anything. I mean, you don't even have to use wood. You could use acrylics. People use styrofoam. There's all kinds of materials you could use. What gives you the best result is hardwoods. The harder the wood, the denser the grain, the smoother the finish. It can look pretty impressive once you get some of these hardwoods that come out with their colors. I haven't been blind forever. I didn't even know that I was going to go blind until I was about 20 years old. I have a hereditary eye disease called retinitis pigmentosa. I went blind when I was 27. Well, I stopped driving when I was 27 years old. I was doing some woodworking here in Columbus, and I was over at the woodwork store. I went and I bought a lathe and some tools and took it home, and it went okay for a while. I was making pens and getting a lot of success out of that. You know, I kind of got bored after a while, and I really wanted to go a little further with my turning. Nobody wanted to work with me because they were afraid that, you know, working with a guy who's blind, you know, that, oh, you know, you shouldn't be working with power tools. See, this is emotional for me because it's so, it's everybody tells me I can't do this. A friend of ours in New York was getting into wood turning as well, so he decided, you know, he was willing to show me how to turn a bowl. I said, oh, that's great. So we went up to upstate New York, and we put a piece of wood on the lathe, and we spent the afternoon turning a bowl. It was beautiful. I mean, I look at it now, it's pretty bad. But it was my bowl. It was a great bowl, and it was a good start. So I knew the mechanics at that point. So I brought you know, took my knowledge and got some additional equipment and started turning bowls and started getting a little bit better at bowls. If you walked into my shop, you wouldn't say, hey, this is a shop for somebody who's blind. It's organized. When I have my shop laid out, I have the tools in a certain spot, and I may even have marks on the handles. And so I know where all the tools are. for measuring, I have what's called a click stick, and it's just a device. It's about 6 inches long, and it clicks out at 1/16 of an inch increments. For centering, you know, when you put a piece of wood on the lathe, you need to have it centered so it's not off centered, so it doesn't rock when it goes on the lathe. You take a circle, just a circle of wood, and exactly in the middle you put a little hole. And so when you want to center a piece of wood with a nail, you just poke a little bit of a dimple in the wood, and so that's where you know to chuck up your lathe and how to square it. Now there are safety concerns, but they're the same safety concerns as anybody. I use my touch, I use my hearing when I turn, when I'm teaching other people, and I do that now. I listen, and I have them listen. When I rough down a piece of wood, it's going to be square when it's on the lathe, and so there's corners coming at me, and I just have to make sure I know where my hands are, and so once that wood is roughed down to a cylinder, then I can put my hands on it and feel the cuts as I'm making them. I do all this stuff by myself in the shop. The only thing that I ask somebody else to do, my wife to do, is she'll put the finish on for some of the things. And she'll look through and see if there's a tool mark or something like that on the wood so that I can't feel. That besides that, it's all me. It's not a matter of whether we're going to have challenges in our life. It's like, how do you deal with those? Are you going to let those challenges take you, or are you going to take them on and overcome those challenges? Stop thinking about me as a blind person, but thinking me as a wood turner who's blind.
Fun fact, Dennis also plays the banjo. You can learn more about him at blindwoodturner.com. The Columbus Idea Foundry in Franklinton is where you're likely to find woodturner Devin Palmer. With a mother who's an accomplished woodcarver and a father who's a capable carpenter and cabinet maker, Devin was practically destined from birth to work with this medium.
I work with trunk sections of logs. I'm looking for hardwoods anywhere from 10 inches up to 30 inches. And it needs to be kind of fresh. I would actually take a tree that was standing that morning and turn it that afternoon if I could. Just because the wood's nice and wet, it's very stable, it's easy to cut. So it's the use of a lathe to make round things out of sometimes green wood, sometimes dried wood. I do everything from making cellar bowls. That's probably my mainstay, kind of functional art, to architectural things and more sculptural stuff. When we're actually cutting, the wood's moving about 25 miles an hour underneath the tool tip. Today that'll be anywhere between 1,200 to 1,300 RPM. I work with things called gouges that help cut and sever the wood fibers. I also work with hollowing tools that are more of a scraper. It has a little cutting tip that I'll guide throughout the inside of the piece to literally scrape the inside out. It makes it actually, I think, one of the safer kinds of woodworking because you're holding on to the things that's sharp. One of the measures of quality is having an even thickness, having it be a little bit lighter than you expect. So as I start to hollow this piece, I'm going to check my thickness, and I'm going to use that thickness and how it progresses to figure out where I need to go. That's one of the reasons why I typically have very smooth curves on the outside. It makes my location very predictable. And one of the things that you learn in hollowing is to kind of visualize that space on the inside as a 3D map So you generally know where your tool is at, and you develop a relationship with it so that you don't go through the side or have it catch and explode. Typically when I make a wooden bowl, I'll rough it out into a rough shape and leave it extra thick so that when it dries and warps, I can get a perfectly round circle out of it. So I have 300 to 400 bowls sitting down in the basement, just slowly drying over the course of 5 years, anywhere from a year to 5 years for larger bowls. And as I pull out of that cache, I'll throw more in. This wood has been infested with the emerald ash borer, kind of an invasive species that was carried over from China that has really decimated the ash population here in central Ohio and really across the Northeast. And had this wood not have been infested by the borer, would it be this interesting? The fact that it can kind of move on to the next step in its evolution, almost like a phoenix type rebirth, I think gives it value and gives it power, and is a good kind of analogy for the way that we learn and the way my students learn, because you have to kind of sometimes make those mistakes to figure out where the gaps are so that you know better for the next time. I really like for people to use these things. The more they use them, the more connected they're going to be to them. So I'll put on walnut oil, or I've started using flaxseed oil that's partially polymerized. It'll actually harden into a soft finish that the end user can maintain. And for some of the other more decorative or artistic pieces, I'll typically use lacquer or other things like polyurethane. I don't let the wood tell me what it wants to be. It's just wood, it doesn't know, right? So I'll have a very, very specific objective in what I want to see out of that. And that's part of the skill of it, is bending the medium to what I want it to be. So as it approaches that final vision, that's when I know it's done. Now sometimes along the way, you know, wood's like a box of chocolates, so you never know what you're going to get until you're finished. In fact, that's the secret to having everything turn out perfect, is never telling anybody what you make until you're completely done. That way it always turns out right.
Devin offers workshops on wood turning where you can make your own bowl or pen. Check out his class schedule at devinpalmer.com. You can also follow him on Instagram. Many first impressions of the people we meet are often based on their body language, and that's no different for Judy Carducci. This Cleveland portrait artist captures the true essence of her subjects by first observing their gestures.
I was always an artist from the time I could hold a pen or a pencil or a crayon. And it consumed me. I loved it, and I became Judy the artist. Everybody knew me as the artist. Everybody knew that that's what I was and what I was always going to be and do. I always start with the gesture. I see Kim doing this a lot. She was sitting over there with her arms crossed like that. And Kim is a little bit tentatively suspicious. This is a very subtle gesture. I always start with the gesture. I always do. Now, I hate to say always and never and this kind of thing, but almost always, probably. Maybe there are times when I don't. But I'm very interested in gesture. So, for example, you were leaning this way and your head is back that way. You look very comfortable. You're not, people will often sit down to have their portrait done and it's like Pharaoh, right on. But if you tell them, look, sit the way you would in your own home. If you had this chair in your home and nobody was there, how would you sit? And they begin to, just kind of get comfortable. And I really love the way people hold themselves characteristically. That's a gesture. That's a gesture. How you hold your body is gestural. Every single person is, I hate this word because it's so trite and overworked, unique. You are you. And you are, this is the first time I've seen you. And I immediately form a first impression, don't you? I mean, isn't there an impact when you come in contact with somebody new? Who is this person? Are they friend or foe? You know? How are you different from anybody else I've ever known? How are you like other people that I have known? And so I'm already starting to get a feel about you. And then I'm also thinking about, the more I look at you, I'm thinking about, let me see, what shape is his head? And what kind of does he have a sense of humor? Is he a pretty serious guy? What color is he? You know, because I love color. I love these pastels. They're great American artworks. I believe they're the best that are made in the world. That used to be Sennelier in France. It's a beautiful medium, and it's also a very forgiving medium. It's both a drawing and a painting medium. You don't have the hassle of drying time and mediums and washing brushes and all of this stuff that you have to worry about with oil painting. And I think if you look around, you look at my website, you'll see that many of my pastels are drawings, and many of them that you have to get up close to them to see that they're not oil paintings, you know, because I paint the same way. It's the same pigment. It's just a different delivery system as the paint that you get in oils and watercolor. I don't want to paint just a generic person. I want to paint you. And so I need to know who you are and what you're like, and how do you and I relate to each other, because after all, I'm the one who's doing the painting. See, this is one reason why I don't do portraits from photographs. I no longer do posthumous portraits, and I don't do portraits from photographs. So I'm a people person. I want to be with that person. I want us to have something going on. I want to get to know you. I make friends that way. I've made some wonderful friends that remain my friends. Portraiture is a people thing. I'm not just sculpting. I'm not just reporting a likeness. I'm trying to give other people a picture of who this person is.
That's our show. You can find all of our stories at WOSU.org, and of course, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Today, we're closing the show with the music of Lydia Brownfield and the Jagged Hearts, based right here in Columbus. This track is off their 2016 album, Ghosts and Lovers. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here next week on Broad and High. Gonna need your cup of sugar, come and give a girl a kiss. Now enjoy this Broad and High bonus feature.
I don't know how many years ago, but a friend asked me this weird question. He just said, "What makes you happy?" And it threw me off because I hadn't given it a second thought. What makes me, what is that, and so I started thinking about it, really gave it a lot of thought, and I started thinking about, the best times of my life were, road trips, where I'm just staring out of the back seat at, rural country, seeing cows pass by, farmhouses, camping, Boy Scouts, trails, just getting lost sometimes. Those really took me to a good place, and it always helps to know your subject. So many people want to just get it right from the jump, and they don't want to fail. They don't want to show anything that's not museum worthy. You have to have patience. Well, okay, I'm going to do this. It's not going to be great, but I'm going to learn from it and apply it to the next piece. And as long as you're still working your craft and having that patience to know that it's going to get better, you'll be just fine.
Production of Broad and High is funded in part by the Greater Columbus Arts Council, supporting arts, advancing culture, and connecting the community to artists, events, and classes at columbusmakesart.com.